let me ask you guys a question. What is going to be longer?
Hey, now.
This
You're an all-star.
No, please. This episode of the Comics Pals or the Batman. Now, we know
Interesting.
that the Batman is going to be 2 hours and 56 minutes. 2 hours and 56 minutes. The Dark Knight was 2 hours and 45 minutes. So we're talking about a doozy of a movie. We have been known to cross that 3 hour line at some point in our history.
Now we don't have Pete.
We don't have Pete anymore. So, we might, it might not be possible, but I'm just asking the question. We take a short bathroom break during this show. Can you take a bathroom break during a movie? I don't think so.
Sure wear a diaper.
You can wear a diaper. That's true. I'm thinking about it because I don't want to miss a minute.
You got to have one of those like new WoW expansion gamer mugs, right? That you just piss in while you're leveling.
I don't, dude. I don't. But
no,
I knew people. I knew people who
it's a thing.
While they were dead during PvP waiting for that res, they'd pull that bottle out and they'd do the works, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Sometimes you had to do it. Tough times.
A pee bottle is my nightmare.
Someone in our Discord, I believe it was Link, and hello to everybody that's in the chat right now. I'm going to get to you guys. I think it was Link, said that where he's from, the country that he lives in, Belgium, thank you. In order to use the bathroom, you have to pay money.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, they have enforced breaks.
So what he said was it seemed like that might be a specific movie company. Because Belgium is right above Luxembourg, where I lived.
That's where Dr. Doom is, right?
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, I lived under the iron fist of Dr. Doom.
That explains a lot.
And the pay to use the bathroom thing in a public place is pretty normal across Europe. The forced intermission, though, is not. Because we never had to do that in Luxembourg. And Jess lived in Paris. And she had like a cinema pass. And she never had to, suffer through an intermission.
Wow, I just can't imagine paying to use the bathroom.
It's only like a nickel or something like that. Like it's like
I don't have a nickel.
It's like I don't
carry no nickel.
And you know what? It's a problem.
What am I gonna do? Bust my credit card out to pay 25 cents? Like this isn't the 1920s. I'm not just gonna flick a nickel over to the guy and be like, yeah, thanks a lot. Shine my fucking shoes too. That's archaic.
That's not. No, man.
They're automated usually.
Those bathrooms, though, cleaner than cleaner than your house.
I don't care.
It's a beautiful experience.
You can eat your Parisian crepe right on the floor of the bathroom.
What difference
and
does
you
it
will
make?
Not be upset about it.
How clean the bathroom is if
100%.
all I want to do is piss and get out of here? I ain't sitting on no bowl.
Listen, that clean, you might think about it.
No, I wouldn't. They've got COVID-20 on that bowl. I'm not messing with that. I'm
no,
getting my ass out of those.
They even have some now that are like booths that like self-clean once they leave, where like it just like flashes it with some kind of weird shit.
Yeah,
and then
like UV radiation or something.
UV radiation. They're going to need to radiate my ass in order to prevent the diseases that are on that bowl.
They don't come with bidets, though.
You're missing the point. There aren't diseases on the bowl because they clean it, and they have a cleaning staff that cleans it right after you're out.
It's not enough, Kale. I don't trust it. I just don't. They wipe those poles down all the time on the subway. You trust them damn poles? I ain't touched that pole.
You damn well that's different.
All right.
You ever use the bathroom in the Times Square subway station?
I don't even go in
those
the
look like those like suicide boxes from Futurama. Like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The last time I did that, I promise you there were people fucking in the stall. I promise.
Oh, nice.
Did I tell you about when when we came back from Pete's one time, in what is it? What's the bus terminal there? The big one.
In Philly?
In New York.
Oh,
yeah.
Port Authority.
Port Authority, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Went to the bathroom.
Yeah,
There aren't any children in here, right? I heard some dude go, "Yeah, fucking suck it."
Oh, that's the name of the episode. Thanks.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Man, taking her to the Pork Authority there.
Oh wow.
The Pork Authority.
Real quick. I love that the movie's going to be so long. I think that's great. I understand.
Oh, yeah,
there
that's
are
what we were
probably
talking
a lot
about.
of people that don't like that, like Kale, old people.
Mhm.
I'm still young, so I'm into it. I'm not going to go to the bathroom. I don't care.
Do we have what's the moratorium on No Way Home spoilers? Can I
Oh, we're
talk about
past
spoil-
that.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
we're
right.
past it. Yeah.
I took a piss after the big fight scene when the villains turn and Norman Osborn does his reveal. I'm like, all right, this just happened. I can use the bathroom. And I come back from the bathroom and Aunt May's dead. And I'm like, oh shit.
Nice job, Tyler. Well
So
done.
my timing is not on it. There is an app though that'll tell you like new movies and when to use the
Yeah.
bathroom.
Wow, that's
yeah.
amazing.
seen
What a
that.
resource.
Yeah.
Before we had some technical difficulties, I was telling you guys how to support the show. Come hang out with us every Saturday at 10 in the morning on Twitch and Wednesdays at 6 for Pals Pulls. Those are Eastern Standard, by the way. I know we have listeners from all over the place. So, go on the Google machine and figure out what time that is for you.
Okay, Joe Biden.
That's what I had to do, man.
YouTube.com/The Comics Pals. Hit that subscribe button to be made aware and the notification bell to be made aware of when we drop new content. We're always putting up cool stuff over on that. Follow us on all the social medias. TikTok. We do TikTok now, if you can believe that. None of us look young enough to do TikTok. I've got some grays, but we're up there, and it's been fun. And there's been a lot of support over there, so thank you guys. Thank you guys for getting us Twitch affiliate, by the way. Thank you so much. We're very grateful for that. It's awesome. That's a huge help. That's going to allow us to do so many things here on the Twitch platform. We've got a lot of feedback about the live show and how much you guys enjoy it. So this is something we're obviously going to keep doing. And the more that you guys come in and support, the easier it is to do. We can start getting subscriptions on here, emojis, banners, bits, all that cool stuff. So, thanks a lot for that. We've got a lot to talk about on the show today. We're going to be talking Moon Knight, big Moon Knight news, not just the trailer, by the way. We know what Jonathan Hickman's next project is going to be at Marvel, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Image is 30. The young hip guys are
It's
old
dirty?
now. 30.
Dirty.
Dirty 30.
Oh.
Yeah.
I get that.
DC's killing the Justice League, if you can believe that.
Yep.
I also can believe that. And we're going to be talking about
that tracks. Yeah.
we're going to be talking about everybody's master, Joss Whedon.
Oh
No.
boy. Did not like the wording on that one.
Little uncomfy, right? We're going to be talking about Joss Whedon and the new big interview that came out this week, and how bad of a job he's doing at revitalizing his career. So we've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Our Saga book club is dropping this Tuesday. So if you're listening to this after Tuesday, it's out already. So go check that out. We've been prepping you guys all month. Hopefully you have gotten through your rereads. I still have a little bit left to go before we actually sit down and chat about it. So make sure you guys are ready for that and come support this book club. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot to say about Saga. Let's start with you guys. Let's start with the listeners, because you guys have really sent us a ton of comments. We have so many things to talk about based on what you guys have had to say this week. Tyler, man, you're the guy as far as reading these comments, so hopefully you can handle this bombardment that we got.
Yeah, we got a lot of comments and a lot of questions actually. So who better to showcase the questions block than Director Bones himself? So that's what I'm slotting in here for the
Director
viewers.
Bones question block.
Yeah. I should like take all the questions and just Photoshop them behind Director Bones.
Oh, that'd be good. We should get like a try to get like a front facing shot of him and like try and animate like the bottom half of his jaw.
I've been trying some things.
I can't stand this character.
So you guys are friggin' chatty as hell this week. Mm-hmm. All right, so we had some listener comments on the Hickman episode 272, the Hickman experiment, which Kale made me realize I missed the opportunity. Call it the experiment. So
I'm glad we didn't do that.
I'm actually kind of upset about it. Kale, it would have been better if you did not tell me that I missed that.
Listen,
if I miss wordplay, I'm kind of upset.
You gotta learn, son.
I watched some Letterkenny to try to up my wordplay on it, but
I knew what that was.
So Mike DeBradley commented, "As much as I love Hickman, Marvel had to slow him down in order to nation build Krakoa and a place for mutants on Earth, as well as their own world on Mars. Hickman can come back later to fulfill his agenda."
Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, yes, definitely all that stuff needed to be established, but I think there's a misconception that Hickman was going to like significantly undo what had been done in the second act, and I don't think that's true. I don't think that we were just going to see like Krakoa go away during Hickman's run at all. Yeah. And I think people are like grossly overstating that fact.
Yeah. So Mike DeBradley also mentioned. Oh, Kel, do you have
I was going to say, I also think it's weird that there wasn't enough nation building. Like there were 7 books.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, up to Inferno. So like, what were we missing?
I think the ones that did nation building really were like Way of X did like culture building.
Yeah.
Excalibur kind of showed off Otherworld and stuff like that. Yeah. And New Mutants showed off like the young section of Krakoa.
Well, and even the X-Men title,
sure,
you know, showed off the way Xavier and the leaders interacted with the rest of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they did a ton of nation building. I really do. But you know, to each their own. Sure.
Mike DeBradley also commented, Marrow was his 2021 pick, and this year they voted for Micromax. So it's cool to see Micromax get a vote.
Yeah. Thanks for being the one person who voted for Micromax.
Nah, I voted for Mike
DeBradley. Okay, 2 people. Those 2 votes could have easily gone to
Firestar. You're right.
There's like 4 comments that we got just about who people voted for, and all of you should have voted for Surge.
Devil Eyes said they voted for Armor. Anika Doa, Morph totally irradiates bossy switch energy. Can confirm.
No.
And absolutely voted for Starfire, which I think he meant Firestar, unless there was a Teen Titans vote that I missed. But yeah. So Nikadoa also commented, I think you hit the nail on the head for me when you said we shouldn't pretend we didn't start reading X-Men again because Hickman was writing it. I agree with you. Like you, I also do not do so to denigrate the writers and artists who came into the fold. These very writers also suffered from interference. Leah Williams' X Factor was canceled just because they liked her next story arc so much, wanted a self-resurrection, but they canceled her series to turn her arc into an event. Even the event's name wasn't chosen by her. After not liking the trial of Magneto and the final assessment, I now have to wonder constantly if some further interference from the higher-ups had turned that story into something I didn't like. With the aborted story arc of Storm's pregnancy, that's a turn of phrase there.
Wow.
At the last minute, the cancellation of a series to create an event and other shenanigans were led to believe that Hickman's writer's room experiment had the narrowest chance to succeed. Everything kept getting sucker punched by the higher ups. They had to deal with the pandemic, which kind of makes the troubles sous-generis. I don't know what that is. Is that French? Is that Krakoan? I don't know. To me, at least, when comparing Hickman's other experiences in Marvel, Ten of Swords truly would have benefited from a sober, severe pruning. Same goes for Hellfire Gala. The Hellfire Gala, there is some indication that their writers were also responsible for the padding. I'm grateful I got some Hickman mutant stories. I'm mournful we didn't get the entire thing. It still hurts me to imagine we got the New Avengers treatment for the X-Men. 44 main book issues, 33 companion book issues, and a fully realized story with a beginning, middle, and end. What a loss, what a shame.
Okay. Now, that comment, right? As long as it was, I don't know if you two know this, but I pruned that comment. I cut a lot of that comment because that shit was
we
a
appreciate.
novel.
We appreciate that you took the time to, write us an issue of X-Men. But like there's some good points. Like I feel like this whole comment was written in full all black clothing, like a black veil over. This person like feels like really, really upset that it didn't become the Avengers version of the X-Men, which I get.
That's how I feel.
Yeah,
Blame
I'm right
Substack.
there.
I'd also like to point out that this person is saying that said, I think you hit the nail on the head. They're referring to me. Just putting that out there.
The royal they, Sean Bartley. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I
didn't know you'd chosen your pronouns. That's very progressive of you.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Sean Bartley.
They, them. Carry on. Great comment.
Royal
yes.
they, them.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I mean, my initial opinion is like, hey, don't blame the writers. Blame Marvel for not paying Hickman enough to keep him there instead of going to Substack. And then honestly blame capitalism for huge corporations not paying their employees correctly.
That's not what happened.
Let's not go.
That's not
a domino effect.
That's not what happened at all. The writers' room for X-Men.
Oh yeah, they didn't want to leave. They were having fun doing their thing. Yeah,
they didn't want that. Not only did they not want to like leave because they weren't leaving, they didn't want to leave this phase, which is nuts to me. I can't believe like the editors and the writers said, "Nah, let's not do that." And Hickman said, "Well, that means I got to go because Marvel pays me to do other work, and I can't sit around and write X-Men."
Sure.
Yeah, so we got some more X-Men feedback from LaRon Wilkes. Ten of Swords didn't feel like a Hickman thing because it was Teeny Howard's big pitch. Editorial gave each of the creators their pitch with some input from others. Teeny Howard, 10 of Swords, Jerry Duggan, Hellfire Gala, Ben Percy, 10 Lives and 10 Deaths of Wolverine, and Leigh Williams' Trial of Magneto. And finally, Vita with Madeline Pryor versus Ilyana for Limbo upcoming Mutant and the New Mutants crossover coming up. I doubt Hickman had too much input in anything outside of Oxpox and the sporadic X-Men mainline books he wrote. That makes sense. Yeah.
That was a kind of a weird interpretation, and I don't really know where this person got the idea that they were each given the ability to pitch an event.
I do feel like the way the books he mentioned were marketed, the people he mentioned with those books were the people talking about those books.
Yeah.
So maybe it's extrapolating from there. I don't remember there being specific announcements like, oh, this is Teeny Howard's 10 of Swords.
That was never stated. And then also, go ahead.
I was going to say Hellfire Gala is totally a Jerry Duggan thing with all the celebrities that were in it. Like it totally smells of Jerry Duggan.
This next comment is actually a response to LaRon Wilkes, but I included it because I completely agree with it.
Okay, so Ridiculous Thoughts had a ridiculous thought and said, not exactly. You are probably referring to Teeny's Sci-Fi Wire interview where she made it sound like that. She walked those comments back, actually, in Connor Goldsmith's podcast interview. She made it sound like Hickman was only the approver on stories and ideas, but it was more collaborative than that. I'm thinking we'll see a lot of Hickman's unused ideas in the upcoming Destiny of X. He left them with a lot of work. I feel bad for Leigh Williams. I think she got screwed the most when they canceled her book and then rushed her miniseries. I agree with that.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I think Leigh Williams really got the short end of the stick. From Beyond the Stars says, I'm glad someone else writes books like I do. Yes. You guys are amazing. The fact that we're reading comments right now and that we still have so many to go is really awesome. Isaiah O said, Gorgon was my vote. You voted wrong, dude. Harris, you're great. Love you, but you voted wrong.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You know what? You should feel wrong, too.
Should have voted for Surge. Gorgon. Yeah. Gorgon had his shot. My man's running around Krakoa insane. Dude. He can't even keep himself together practically. He was sitting in Central Park in Way of X, confused. He doesn't know what's going on. You want him on the X-Men over Surge? She needs a bump, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Gorgon had a whole movie. It's called Small Soldiers. Look it up. You know, he had his time.
Wow, that's the second Small Soldiers.
Whenever Gorgon's brought up, I will bring up the Gorgonites.
Oh, man.
Fantastic movie. I think the Ridiculous Thoughts also mentioned, as always, the dick jokes were on point. Keep it up.
I'm sorry. That was Snake of Talons.
Okay, Snake of Talons. Was that a dick joke in and of itself?
Keep it up.
Yep. I like what you did there. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I appreciate that. Snake of Talons on episode 164. We ranked our favorite X-Men character. I can't wait to see Kale eat his shoe on a live stream. Going to be counting down. So Snake of Talons' favorite X-Men are 1, Jean Grey, 2, Cyclops, 3, Gambit.
What am I going to eat my shoe for again?
I don't even remember, dude.
I don't know. Well, you can just eat it if you want. What kind of shoes you got?
Vans. Probably would be that bad.
Not if you got the comfy cush ones, those taste pretty good.
Why do you know that? You're not just gonna slip that in, dude. What
4 Magneto, 5 Rogue. He also said, "I love Emma Frost, so this is very hard to exclude her. Clearly, I love X couples and Magneto."
Yeah, I'm with you. I just can't. That Gambit.
Yeah, I did a pregnant pause on the Gambit. That's an interesting choice for a top 5.
Yeah,
Snake of Talons. Probably big into the only way I can see you being a Gambit fan is if you were really into the animated series.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Then I understand it.
Yeah, that's fair. If you're here with us on Twitch or listening in any way, let us know your top 5 X-Men. Why not? We're not going to do it here right now, but if you guys want to share your favorite X-Men, please feel
Glob
free.
Herman, Shark Girl, Brew, Marrow, Maggot. There we go. We're good.
and also if you can remember why I said I would eat my shoe, please let me know, because I feel like there was a reason, and it may be time to pay the piper, but I don't remember.
We have 3 bets going on, Kale.
Yeah.
The shoe, which I don't recall, but we can just go back and listen to the
I remember
audio.
making a Werner Herzog reference about him eating his shoe. I remember that.
Now that you say that, I do recall that as well.
Yeah, so there's definitely something. And it was on one of the ones I was on, so we don't have that much of a backlog to go through.
Oh, wow.
We'll just get the intern to do it. Marco, you want to just do that while you're on vacation for us? Thank you.
Yeah, Marco, make yourself useful, dude. You're going to have to do a backflip when we get 1,000 subscribers
allegedly
in the year. Oh, absolutely. And then you're going to owe me, was it $500?
$500.
And I don't even remember why. Something Spider-Man related.
You think I've forgotten that amount of money? You think I've forgotten that bet? The bet was the fact that there's not going to be a Sinister Six movie.
Oh, dude,
what's the moratorium
fucked
on that one?
You're in trouble with that one.
It was like by like 2028, I think was the compromise we made. That's not going to happen.
You're in trouble.
I don't think it's happening either.
Okay. All right.
All right, Tyler, let's split then.
No, I'm good. So we also had a comment from Matt Murphy on Discord. So Matt Murphy said, I have a question. Great start there. Because I'm a neurotic person and I'm constantly reevaluating myself and my perspectives, as of January 2022, has your top 5 comics of all time changed recently? My Son Ikoku, Kale, that's a manga, I'm guessing, right?
I think I have it actually.
Mason Ikoku. Mason Ikoku has recently taken Alias to spot in my top 5.
Oh, no, I don't.
And it's been weighing on me how much my taste has really changed during the pandemic. So, just to give context to Matt's neuroticisms, he keeps an ongoing spreadsheet of every type of media that he consumes throughout a given year. Podcast, TV show, music, comics. It's meticulous.
I don't even remember what I ate for breakfast.
I know.
I know. Can I just say that I would always check his media consumption because I thought that was a fascinating idea. Then it was funny to watch the Comics Pals fall out of the rotation.
Can't lie on that.
Yeah, no shade. Is Matt here, by the way? Matt, are you in the chat right now?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if he's here.
So.
No, not today. I'll text him. Text him. Go on. We're talking about you.
I do want to say before we give our top 5, because we are going to do that right now, our top 5 comics, I want to say that I struggle sometimes with doing things like this because people always want to judge what you like. And I don't need that shit. Now, mind you, yes, I am the same person telling you to vote Surge and you suck if you didn't. But as it relates to the top 5, right? As it relates to the things that are personal to you, everybody always has some shit to say. And I don't want to hear, oh, why does your list have so many superhero comics on it? Or, oh, why doesn't your list have more Image comics? Don't you love Brian Lee O'Malley? Guess what? No, I don't. Okay? No, I do. But like, this is my list. Your list is yours. Mine is mine. Okay. And also, I don't think any of our lists are in order. So whatever they are,
I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I don't think of things on a ranking constantly. Like I don't, and I don't keep track of that either. Yeah, I think I could think of like when I first started reading comics, I thought Civil War was the greatest piece of shit that ever happened.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I still think it's good, but it wouldn't be on my top 5. It might not even be in my top 10 now. So like there is some evolution going on. I feel like Sean's Civil War is number 1, and he's just like, I already feel judged.
Of course I feel judged.
Yeah. But like there's just, I don't even really think about that. I'm not as reflective in terms of my media intake as that. I'm more reflective in the way of like, why do I feel the urge to rank everything? What does that say about myself? How was I raised? Like that's where my reflection comes in. And that's why I usually tell Matt, go to therapy when he shows me his list. But I tell it to all my friends.
For me, it's a matter of like, I haven't had my full collection in like at least half a decade. Like I've been moving around and going all over the world. I haven't been able to, carry 2 giant boxes of Tupperware books, 2 Tupperware boxes of giant books, whatever.
Not gonna fly heavy ass books to New Zealand and then to Europe and then
I even just mailing a box of books from New York to Texas was a nightmare.
Yeah, not worth it.
Well, let's get into the top 5.
Yeah,
Kale, do you want to go first? Yeah.
So mine does have a little bit of an order, but I would say it's a lot of it is sentimental, I think. So coming in at number 5 at the moment is Sandman Mystery Theater, the Vertigo series from Matt Wagner, Guy Davis, and a bunch of other people. It's similar to Swamp Thing in that a million people did it, and one guy got the credit or whatever. There's also Darwin Cook's Will Eisner's The Spirit. Love Darwin Cook's rendition of The Spirit. I think it was fun. It was witty. The coloring was tremendous. Dave Stewart on the colors, potentially. But it also sort of, it gave The Spirit stuff to do that was fun and engaging and felt like it could genuinely continue. Whereas a lot of Will Eisner's stuff on The Spirit was very one and done. Coming in at number 3, and this is a solid number 3, probably for my whole life, is Ed Brubaker and Matt Fraction and David Aja's Immortal Iron Fist.
Never read it.
Me neither.
I really like it. I think there's a degree of it that is very interchangeable with Hawkeye, and not just because they look the exact same, Iron Fist and Hawkeye. That's a big part of it, but it's really good.
What do you mean they look the same? Whoa, what was that about?
White
Casual
blonde hair.
racism?
No, I legitimately, if you look at who's it? Danny Rand and Clint Barton, done by David Aja, they're the same person.
Oh. And also, how come you don't recommend that for a book club? You always want to that Infinite Loop shit you recommended us to read like 3 years ago easily could have been Immortal Iron Fist, and we would have had an amazing time.
Probably not.
What are you talking about?
I had a great time talking about Infinite Loop.
No, you did not.
I did. I didn't enjoy the book, but I enjoyed talking about it.
Wait, I thought you guys were talking about
with
Infinite
you,
Jest.
my dear friend.
Anyway.
And you have the last one, Kill?
Bitch, I'm on number 2.
Oh, you're
You
going.
said-
You're going in descending order. Okay, or
Okay.
ascending order. I guess descending would be
Number
descending.
2 is Usagi Yojimbo by Stan Sakai, specifically the story I shouted out last week from the volume Lone Goat and Kid. There's a story where he has to recover the sword of a fallen samurai from his from the samurai's mistress, and her brother tries to sell the swords, and it's a tremendously done story. That whole series, anything you can get on Usagi Yojimbo is a mastery of storytelling. And my number one is number one very specifically because it is some of the first stuff I ever read. Is the first volume of Young Justice from Peter David and Todd Knock.
Interesting. Todd Knock's good.
Yeah,
Fun
that's
name to say,
probably
too.
my favorite Todd Knock is Young Justice.
Todd Knock did a Nightcrawler series.
Not that long ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. All right, Sean,
Tyler,
want to go?
why don't you go?
Yeah, I'll go. So no particular order. Number 1, I have Watchmen. I know it's like the fuckboy answer, but it's like the only book. I have my copy from high school still, and like I still
Wow.
have it annotated because I wrote like a 30-page thesis on it. Like this is like my original copy, and like I don't know, it's like it almost is like sentimental more than anything really at this point. Number 2, I have Thunderbolts by Warren Ellis and Mike Deodato. That whole posts, like Civil War, Secret Invasion, Thunderbolts stuff is great. Norman Osborn, love me some Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
Number 3, I have Next Wave by Warren Ellis and Stuart Immonen. Don't judge me for all this Warren Ellis love, but Next Wave,
Wait.
it's really because of Stuart Immonen. It's just real dumb superhero comics with a really weird team. First issue sees them fighting Fin Fang Foom, and they get stuck in his underwear. Number 4, I have, which is probably a new addition to the list, and one that I only really thought about when I was coming up with this, was the Demon Bear Saga of New Mutants by
Interesting.
Claremont Muschamá and Sienkiewicz. I really, Matt and I did it for the long box, and I really, really enjoyed it, and like it stuck with me since. It even helped me enjoy the New Mutants movie, which was tough. And then number 5, which was probably just like my go-to, like happy comic, is Justice League New Frontier by Darwin Cook.
Yeah.
It's just exactly what DC comics and DC characters should be. So those are my top 5.
All right. Yeah. So for me, again, in no particular order, and also, part of Matt's question was, has the list changed for you? And I think for me, the answer is probably not. And that's, that's kind of weird. But probably not. It's pretty much the same as it's always been. Low by Rick Remender.
Dum. Sorry. And whenever you say low, I just think of Get Low, but
Well, of course you do, because you have a weird 2000s brain. When I think about your brain, I think about like a mush,
it's
like
very smooth.
There's
There's no wrinkles in my brain.
What's that called? Like Katamari Damacy, right?
Oh,
That
I love
Yeah.
Katamari Damacy, yeah.
I think about that just full of like pop culture shit rolling down a hill.
it's quite
collecting
like a-
stuff.
Yeah, like in the style of like a 2000s sports comedy. Like that.
You say that, and then my college, to graduate college, I had to write a feature-length film. And I wrote one that was a 2000 sports comedy.
Yeah.
Oh my
course.
god. Yo, can
essentially-
we get that? Can we get that posted somewhere?
Let's
I mean,
reenact it.
It's about the
Let's do the film.
Globetrotters. It's like 120 pages. It's
Oh,
okay.
you told me about
Yeah,
this.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
don't
we
even
can
watch
get them to
sports.
act in it.
I mean, they're not doing anything right now. I mean, the Generals aren't doing anything because that's not a team anymore. But yeah,
Right.
whatever.
Right. So low, Rick Remender. We did a book club on it, and I honestly think that it's one of the most underrated comics of all time. I don't understand why people don't talk about it more. Greg Ticini's art is absolutely incredible. The story is beautiful. It's dark. It's heavy. It's very heavy. But if you can stomach that and come out on the other side, you'll find that it's really beautiful, kind of like life. So yeah, I really appreciate and love that one. Uncanny X-Force, also by Rick Remender.
Nice.
You know, there's a trend happening. You can see it already. I like stories that are extremely dark and heavy. This is a story we also did a book club on. Yeah, and by Rick Remender.
Is there a specific arc?
No, just the whole thing. It's again, it's like taking the X-Men, right, and telling a story that doesn't need to have the X-Men in it necessarily. Like the story does, but the themes don't, right? Like it's about, you know, if you do awful things in your life, or you do what you've had to do to survive, how does that kind of create scars within you, and how do you live with that? And that's something that I really love.
My first issue here signed by Opeña and Remender.
Oh,
How much you sell that bad boy for?
I don't think I am.
Wait, you met him?
Wall somewhere. I've met Remender and I've met Opeña. Yeah.
Where did you meet Remender?
It was like one of the when Marvel used to have booths at New York Comic Con. You know, where you'd wait online for hours on end, and hopefully you got to them.
Yeah.
This is when it first came out. Yeah. So.
God, I would love
Good
to
stuff.
meet him. Yeah. Grant Morrison's Batman.
Okay.
I have a shrine to Grant Morrison. It's just over here. You can't see it. But
Same.
Yeah, Grant is one of the greatest comics writers of all time. I believe that. And this run, I think, is one of the greatest runs on a superhero comic of all time. It manages to synthesize a crazy history for a character that pretty much everybody has a different like feeling about, depending on the generation that you came from. And it makes it all canon, and it makes it all real. And it's brilliantly done. It goes from, you know, just being about Batman to being about Batman's son, you know, his sons kind of. And then being about what Batman means to the world and all this amazing stuff. It really is just a love letter to Batman, who is one of my favorite characters. So yeah, I love that. And then Civil War.
Good.
You know, I mean, what is there to say? Mark Millar, Steve McNiven. We've done the book club. I love Civil Wars. If Civil War didn't happen, I'm not here right now. I think Batman.
You would have killed yourself.
Can you imagine?
No, dude.
They announced it, and then they were like, "Actually, no, we're not going to do it." And Sean went, "Well, consequences be damned."
I'm
Jumping
talking
off the
about
Brooklyn Bridge.
I'm talking about the Civil War, man. They fought for our freedom.
Oh boy! Whoa! What are we talking about here? There's layers to this one, and I'm not touching.
No, Mark Millar, Steve McNiven. This is a work that really, like, if it's not for that, I'm not doing this show. I'm not sure that I'm the same level of comics fan. It really had a tremendous impact on me. And then the last one is Jonathan Hickman's Avengers. So encompassing Avengers, New Avengers, and Secret Wars. That was incredible stuff. It's what I wish X-Men was. Just like that commenter, whose name I can't recall. I wish that's what we had gotten. Hickman is a genius when it comes to comics, and not many creators can do the kinds of things that he does with superheroes. It's obviously very difficult to tell big, sweeping stories with these characters that feel earned and real and deep. And Hickman does that. So, yeah. Interestingly, I really wanted to include Captain America by Brubaker, but I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I was having trouble trying to figure out a Daredevil run. I was probably going to pick Mark Waid's and Chris Samnee and Paulo Rivera's.
Interesting.
That is my favorite Daredevil. It's swashbuckling.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoyed. But yeah, I could probably do a top 10 on here too.
Yeah.
Could you do a top 10 Daredevil?
It's a good question. That's a good question. I know what wouldn't be on there, and that would be the Shadowland stuff. So,
Yo, why do you have to continuously hate on
Don't like it.
Shadowland?
Don't like it.
Wow.
Not
dude.
good. Not good.
All right, whatever.
You mean you're not a fan of the devil being possessed by the devil?
It's redundant.
I think you just broke our collective brains. Let's jump into the Twitch comments real quick before we move on to the news. Thank you, by the way, Matt. That was a great question. And it's something that's making me want to spend more time thinking about what I like in comics. But I feel like I don't want to get neurotic about it. So I got to be careful. I got to toe the line. From Beyond the Stars said, we got to make sure to keep Kale to his word. So I'm never letting go of the backflip thing. We lost the eat the shoe details. We didn't lose it because we do have the episodes. So I'm going to go back and find out why Kale's going to eat a shoe. Yeah. She also said, I have a similar brain. So Tyler, I feel that smooth brain full of references life. I think we all do to some degree. Tyler, just a particular brand of like.
No, I have medically diagnosed smooth brain. So.
Oh shit!
Full of Seth Green references.
There's no winkles around my brain at all.
No winkles.
Kristen said, excuse me, there's a pal missing. Kristen is Marco's cousin, I believe. Thank you for joining us, by the way. That's awesome that you're here. He'll be back next week if he decides to get off vacation, man.
Well.
I walked outside today to 7-degree weather to get a cold brew, and I was just thinking, Marco's probably pretty warm right now. And that's how I try to get through it.
By cold brew, do you mean beer?
No, it's freaking 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't drink till at least noon.
That's what I was saying. Like, dude, you got a problem, man.
A cold brew iced coffee.
We got to do a drunk episode, right?
I have ideas for that.
It's gonna happen. Yeah. It's gonna happen. That's gonna be an event. Mark it down in your calendar. It'll happen on the 33rd. From Beyond the Stars said, Civil War is one of the first comics I got for myself. Yes. Aside from the random single Iron Man issues earlier, per your recommendation, got at Midtown, I'm pretty sure. Yes, I remember that trip. I remember when that happened. Yeah.
It's funny, when Civil War was going on, I was in Europe at the time in high school, and I was talking to people in Germany there, and they knew what was happening in Civil War too. Like, it was huge.
Well, they already had Civil War II out there.
I'm not touching that one either.
And Hermes Pip said, "Oh brother, time zones got me messed up." Yes, I understand.
Preach,
I
homie.
think Pip is Manny, I believe. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Thank you though for joining us. Much appreciated. Let's jump into the news.
Let's not. I have a game. Let's do a game.
Oh, your game. Oh my God, your game. Yes, we have a game. I'm so excited to see this game. What do you have?
So this game is called
Give me the green light.
All right, let me get Kale fixed here. Hold on.
Why is it that you love that song?
It's so good. I can't help it. Oh, I got to fix Kale's head here. Let's see.
Well, you wouldn't be the only person saying that. See this? I gotta get a haircut. You see this? Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, you need to actually fix your head. Let's see. All right.
Oh my God, is that Pitbull?
It's Pitbull. Yeah. You know what, Kale? You can just deal. Your face is there for now. All right.
Can we flip me? Like,
I can't.
Here, I'll just sit like this. How about that? No, that's worse.
No. It's just you're cut in half. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see if I do a little bit of this.
No, that's the other way.
There we go. All right. Hold on. There we go.
Nice. A little bit of technical mumbo jumbo.
This is why I don't have other people to test these things out with. All right. So the way this game works is I'm going to give you a name and you tell me if it's a Green Lantern. Simple yes or no.
All right.
Okay. Sean, Pitbull.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Give me the green light.
Is that? I can just keep playing that.
Give me the green light.
Best WrestleMania theme of all time.
You're definitely not right, but okay.
All right, so first one that we have here is Bezow Doodoo Zoppity Bop Bop. Is that a Green Lantern? Yes or no? Shouldn't have said that while Sean was drinking. All right. If you need to
No.
do a spit take off camera. Okay, Kale says
Holy
no.
shit.
Kale
I'm
says
gonna
no.
say I'm gonna say yes.
All right, so Kale is actually right. This is actually just the guy's mugshot. Bezow Doodoo Zoppity Bop 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 was actually a mugshot in Dane County. So not a Green Lantern, sorry.
But you know what? Could be.
What the fuck?
I mean, I looked it up. I did a lot of Googling on Bezu Zoppity Bop Bop. Okay, hold on.
They say they can't hear you.
I got it. Here we go. Bezu Doodoo Zoppity Bop Bop is not a Green Lantern.
Bezow doo-doos zoppity bop bop bop.
Yeah. So the way this game works is I give you a name and they tell me if it's a Green Lantern or not. That's all it is. And then
Give me the green light.
that's all. So next name we have is Odorous Urungus. Is that a Green Lantern?
Odorous Urungus.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Sean, you go first.
Sure. I'm going to I'm gonna say yes.
Yes, it's a Green Lantern. Okay, Cal?
Yeah.
I think I'm also going to say yes.
Okay, well, Odorous Urungus is actually one of the lead singers of Gwar, not a Green Lantern.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Sorry,
Yeah,
you guys are wrong on there. Cal's still on the board, though, with one.
All right.
And then this one is Zilius Zox. Is that a Green Lantern?
Yes.
Sean saying yes. Cal, is Zilius Zox a Green Lantern?
Yes.
All right, well, give me the green light. Let's see.
Give me the green light.
It's actually a Red Lantern. You guys are both both
come
wrong.
on.
Oh my god.
Not a Green Lantern. The next one is Smart One. Is that a Green Lantern? Cal?
No.
Not a Green Lantern. Sean, is that a Green Lantern?
Smart one. I'm gonna go with yes.
Yes, that's a Green Lantern.
Give me the green light.
Well, it's actually not a Green Lantern. Smart One was an animatronic that was in the Epcot Communicore section.
Dude,
just
what
a
the
little
fuck
robot.
is this? Are any of them gonna be Green Lanterns?
Oh,
Just tell me now.
we got one last one. Is Green Man a Green Lantern?
No.
Yes.
So Sean says no. Kale says yes. Kale wins again. Green Man is a Green Lantern. There's a Green Lantern called Green Man.
What a stupid game. You put one Green Lantern in there.
Yeah. This is Green Man. He's an Alpha Lantern
fired.
too. He's not just a Green Lantern. He's an Alpha Lantern.
You are fired.
Hey, he's a plant-based lantern. There we go, Harris. Everyone knows. So yeah, that was
Everyone but
Give me the
Sean
green
knows.
light.
Give me the green light.
The song is by far the best part.
Oh yeah. And I also had a lot of fun
Tremendous.
photoshopping Pitbull as a Green Lantern.
Yeah, fuck yeah, you did.
That's
hilarious.
He's the Green Lantern of Sector 305.
Oh my god, dude.
You
You need to put that out there and tag him on Twitter.
Oh, maybe he can play my nearby Walmart. Yeah. You guys know that story?
No.
No, it's Pitbull had a contest where you could vote for your local Walmart, and the winner would play. They would have a Pitbull concert at that Walmart. And the internet got the Anchorage, Alaska one to win. So Pitbull played in Anchorage, Alaska. I think that's when he started becoming Mr. Worldwide. At that point, he graduated from Mr. 305 to Mr. Worldwide.
Oh, that's amazing! Wow. Well, thanks for the Pitbull lore.
You're welcome, guys. You're welcome.
Appreciate it. And give us a green light one more time.
Give me the green light.
You're
There you
welcome.
go.
There we go.
All right. Now, can you transition us into the news without breaking things? That's my question.
Yeah.
Can we hear? Can we
We're
hear
good.
everybody?
We're good.
Can
We're
we hear
good. I
Tyler?
can see the things. We're good.
Yeah. All right. Good. So let's get into the Moon Knight trailer. Marvel Studios Moon Knight. They finally put out the official trailer. We had seen a couple of things beforehand, but this is the real deal. The show's going to be dropping on the 30th of March, starring Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. Tyler, why don't you play that trailer for us so we can watch it?
I can actually do that. Probably.
Can you?
I can. This one, I'm not sure anymore.
Let's do it live.
So we're not
Fuck
doing
it.
this anymore. We can just go straight into.
We're not going back to Pitbull.
You sure you guys want to do another round? I got more.
Give me that green light.
All right, so let's play this.
We can't. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay. Can you guys hear that?
It's just a
can
little
hear
low. It's a little low in the opening, but yeah.
Yeah.
I can't tell the difference.
I love his accent. It's so goofy.
His voice is so high.
It's not what I expected at all.
I know.
Do like the Kid
Yeah.
Cudi though. Kid Cudi's a nice touch.
This was it. Yeah. The way they used the Kid Cudi song was awesome. Seeing Oscar Isaac be kind of like a weirdo goofball is interesting.
I mean, did you see him as Apocalypse?
That was an abomination.
No, that was Apocalypse.
I was waiting for that one. That
I
one
lost
got
my contact lens.
That's how I feel like in a post-COVID world whenever anyone gets in the elevator with me.
Thanks.
Especially
I'm
smelly old
from
people.
London, governor.
I can't make those jokes. That's all you, Cal. My dude's got the razor.
What's wrong with you, Mark?
Why did you call me Mark?
That's what all of the internet wrestling community says.
Oh man, I love the way they're utilizing his mental illness.
His DID.
Is that guy with the long hair Kevin Bacon?
It was Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're kind of the same.
Yeah.
Moon Knight just beating someone. Look at that costume.
I don't know, man.
No?
I don't.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
You see him? Did you see that? Him jumping,
Gotcha.
rooftop jumping, and the Disney logo. That was incredible.
Thanks, Athletic.
Oh wait, oh no, we're not watching the Screen Crush thing.
Thanks,
we,
Athletic Screen.
we should watch the Screen Crush thing. Screen Crush is a very good channel. We should definitely watch that.
That could have been a lot weirder. I'm so glad.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
was-
you should have seen the recommended things on the side that I had to cut off. We can watch the report of the week's KFC review of the new KFC Beyond Nuggets. KFC's
thought it
new
was-
Beyond Nuggets are inedible. This is the type of stuff that I watch.
Actually, I would be down for that. If,
Report of the week is
you know,
great.
we've got the time after the show. Maybe that's what we should do.
We should watch Report of the Week. We just become a Reacts channel.
Well, I mean, I'm curious about the Nuggets.
Not good.
Speaking of reacts, let's react to the trailer. I thought that it was pretty good. Moon Knight is a very interesting character. I think that having Oscar Isaac play the character is going to add a lot of interest for people. I feel like Moon Knight is going to become a character that people rally behind. I really do.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Manny, I do think that Moon Knight is full CG.
Really?
Yeah, I believe so.
It sure looks like it. Or maybe it's just like the wrapping and the hood and the cape.
I do like the
are
magical
real.
girl transformation.
Yeah, big fan of that. But man, the full wrappings CGIs. Boy, I don't know.
I don't know. I think it looks good. Like, I guess it'll depend on how it plays out beyond just what they felt comfortable showing us in the trailers. Because sometimes
Yeah, for
they
sure.
can mask the shittiness of a thing. But I don't know. I really thought it looked cool. What I don't like is that it's like almost like a symbiote, like it comes out of him. I think that the fact that he has to put it on actually adds something to the character.
Yeah,
More than a lot of other heroes, actually.
agreed.
I agree with you there too. Yeah, I mean, we might see Mr. Knight show up in this. You know, who knows at this point? But
Well, that's what you would call him, Mr. Knight.
well, I mean, Mr. Knight is, I think, technically what he calls himself when he's wearing the suit,
Mr. Moon
like
Knight.
the white tux suit thing.
Right, yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
you're talking about.
In the
The
new
Declan
run.
Shalvey design, just the white mask. I hand made a mask. You can see it right in that corner over there, hanging. It's my Moon Knight mask there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for this. Mostly because I don't know what it is. I don't even think it's like tackling any. It doesn't look like it's tackling a specific run.
Yeah.
It just seems like they're really just taking the character. He has a cool costume. He has the ID. There's the Egyptian overtones. Let's run with it and do our own thing. And I really like Oscar Isaac, so I'm ready for it. I'm excited.
Yeah.
March
March
30th?
30th.
Yeah.
Yeah. March 30th. We'll do some kind of content for it. Hopefully, we still have to get to Peacemaker.
It's good. It's good.
It's good.
Probably
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye's done.
We missed the boat on that one.
We missed the boat. The conversation is over.
My heart is
unfortunately.
not broken. It will go on.
It was good though. Honestly, I thought Hawkeye was
Agreed.
good.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, not that they can do no wrong, but they've seemed to. I mean, I watched Eternal, so they can do wrong. But at least in terms of the Disney Plus series, like I think they know what they're doing. And I actually kind of prefer the TV show as a vehicle for comic book storytelling because I think it's more one-to-one to comics themselves. I say that, and then I didn't like Falcon and Winter Soldier at all.
You didn't?
I thought Zemo was the best thing about that. That's it.
Disappointed.
I thought it was just boring.
Disappointed.
But yeah, I think this is weird enough that it's going to be something different. I don't know how violent they get. I mean, it sounded pretty violent. You hear the guy's face crunching, which I thought was more violent than any Marvel stuff we've gotten so far. But is he going to rip someone's face off? That's my question.
No, definitely not.
Typical Moon Knight ripping people's faces off.
You don't think we're gonna see a Netflix Daredevil car door decapitation scene?
Oh, that was a great scene, dude. Loved it. I mean, based on Kingpin and the Hawkeye stuff, we will not see that. No, we won't.
And that is kind of a concern that I have, I guess, is like because they're not on Netflix, there are certain things we're not going to get to see. And I think a Moon Knight series has a great chance of being really good if it's on Netflix. Although, to be fair, I think like past Daredevil, it's not like and Punisher. I think Punisher was genius. Past those two, though, they didn't do like that great a job with those shows. So I don't know. I would like a little bit more Netflix in my Disney Plus as it relates to Marvel shows.
Fair.
Hermes Pip says, also, this is the first MCU series not based on a character from the movies. That's a good point. That is a good point. And I think that's good. I think it's good. I think the Disney Plus shows are a great vehicle to introduce us to new characters. I just hope that they do end up getting into the movies at some point. I'm not sure if Moon Knight will, though.
Oh, you don't think Moon Knight would show up in anywhere else?
They'd have to do something that, like, it'd have to be like a team up movie. Like
I think it'd be Blade. I think Blade has a once they introduce Blade, I think they can definitely do some kind of like Midnight Sun sort of thing.
There is 100% a Midnight Suns movie coming.
Yeah, I think that's definitely or like an event series. I mean, I didn't work for Defenders, but maybe something similar to that.
Yeah, and I think it didn't work for Defenders because of Jeff Loeb, honestly, and some of the writers that they employed. But From Beyond the Stars says, I'm really interested in this one. I don't know much about the characters, so I'm pretty intrigued and want to learn more. I think a lot of people are coming into Moon Knight from that place of not really knowing a lot about him. Even a lot of comics fans. Moon Knight is not that popular. Yeah. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing for these shows to be able to kind of do what they want and not have to be slavish to any one particular idea.
If you want to know about Moon Knight, if you want to get into it, I think the Warren Ellis stuff is a good jumping on point.
Yeah.
It's just one and done stories, really.
Yep.
Don't say that on Twitter though, because apparently the Moon Knight gatekeepers were in full effect once this trailer came out. Which is really aggressive. I didn't know that existed. I didn't know they had Moon Knight gatekeepers, but yeah.
I don't feel like you get anything from the Warren Ellis stories, though. I mean, it's cool.
Get anything in terms of
anything from the from the character and about the character.
I think you get a ground level thing. I don't think you get much about his DID. I don't think you get much. And that's the thing about the Moon Knight runs in general. It's like they've picked and choose. They pick and choose what they want to actually deal with. So that's not very. Like you look at the Munch run, Munch. I don't know how to pronounce it. Or you look at like the Max Bemis run, or you look at the Ellis run. They're all kind of varying. But in just terms of accessibility, I think the Ellis run is a little easier to jump into.
Well, let's talk about the new Moon Knight. We got the announcement this week. Obviously, synergy between Marvel and Disney about a new Moon Knight comic. So, in April, we're going to get an anthology series called Moon Knight Black, White, and Blood. Marvel and DC actually have been doing these anthologies. We had the Wonder Woman Black and Gold or something like that.
Yeah.
Elektra just came out. So we've had a lot of these of late. This is the latest one. And it's going to basically be 3 different creative teams, or rather 3 different creative teams in the first issue. We don't know anything about the additional ones. And they're basically going to show us, different aspects of Moon Knight in the future and some stuff like that. So the first one that they announced is Jonathan Hickman, and Chris Bacalo. Now, the reason why that's interesting, other than the fact that it's 2 tremendous creators working together, is the fact that we just talked about a Hickman Bacalo team up on Spider-Man and the potential of that happening. So I wonder if this doesn't eliminate the possibility of that. Are all of us who chose that as said yes to that occurring this year just wrong off rip?
I don't think so. I think he's just going to do this one issue and that's it. If this is anything like Batman Black and White, it's anthologies. They get on a creative team to do a short story for one issue and that's it, which is perfectly fine. It's good comics.
Yeah.
But I think it's like, who can they get to really sell the first issue? Because maybe Moon Knight itself might not sell it. The show will definitely help at this point. Because the show will have been gone and over at that point. Or right around the same time. I guess it'd probably be concurrent because the show starts March 30th. So this comes out in April. Yeah, so it would be concurrent with the show.
Yeah.
But what better name than Jonathan Hickman to really sell that book?
Sure.
Boy, and that Bacalo art. That's gonna be
That's what sells it for me.
Yeah.
That really sells it, especially if they go like full Egypt with it.
Yeah.
It reminds me of there was a Chris Bacalo story in Amazing Spider-Man with Wolverine and a snowstorm. That was like amazing, and like if he can pull that kind of stuff with this, I'd love it.
Yeah, Bacalo on Doctor Strange was incredible.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I mean, one of the other teams on this too is Mark Guggenheim and Jorge Fornes, which Guggenheim in comics hit and miss for me.
Yeah.
But Jorge Fornes just hits every single time for me. So that's something I'm really excited for as well.
Yeah. And then the last creative team is Morewa Ayodele and Doton Akanda. So hopefully I got those right. Ayodele is actually making their Marvel Comics debut with this one, which is pretty cool. I think both of them are African. I want to say that's what I read.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that should be cool. I'm looking forward to this. Obviously, the big draw is Hickman, but I'm into Moon Knight, so I'm looking forward to this.
I want to be into Moon Knight, so I also am looking forward to this.
Yeah.
And Hickman's story is specifically a future Moon Knight, too. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's not beholden to any of the previous Mark Spector stuff.
So fuck what you know.
Oh, what if it's Moon Knight 2099 or something like that?
You know what? That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's jump into some of the Twitch comments we've gotten. Jeff Loeb, thumbs down. Agreed.
Like in general, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
From me on the stars, thank you. I think I'd start with that added to my list of recommendations that I got from Palspools the other day. Appreciate y'all. You are very welcome.
I think she said Ty as in Tyler.
Oh, Ty.
Not so much
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
I think it's in regards to the Moon Knight rec.
Matt said, I agree with Kale. It's just an action movie. What movie?
The Warren Ellis Moon Knight.
Oh, yes. Totally.
It's the Raid. It's essentially the Raid in comic book form, but I think that's a good thing.
Hermes Pip, Oscar Isaac is a big grab. Completely. Kale Ward, don't care what he said.
Can't blame me. Guy's an asshole.
Catherine said, I just want to acknowledge, too, that Gaspard Ulliel, who portrays Midnight Man Anton Mogart in the series, passed away right after the trailer was released. An unfortunate accident. Yes, that is terrible. I wonder how that's going to affect future seasons also.
Yeah, skiing accident too. He was only in his 30s.
That's
rough
terrible.
stuff. Yeah.
37, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate to even think about people dying so young. It's just awful.
Yeah.
And then Matt said Guggenheim's X-Men Gold wedding issue 100.
That was good. That was the Kitty Pryde Colossus issue, I believe.
Did they get married?
No, I think she leaves him at the altar or something like that.
Oh,
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Awesome. Good thing I didn't try to use that as a bid on Two Truths and a Lie. Let's.
We're not going to give me the green light again for next game. We're going to do that game again. All right.
Oh, I don't know. We can do any game.
All right, give me the green light. Let's go. New favorite game.
Let's talk about Captain America. Everybody's favorite American hero. Marvel, and by the way, all these comic announcements, this is all coming from the April solicits.
April's big.
Huge. So much that we had to cut because it was just too much. And a lot of the announcements are really cool, but we tried to pick the ones that were the most interesting and engaging, really, to me. But
I want to see how the sausage is made, guys. Guess who comes up with the script?
Hopefully you guys find something out of this too. So Marvel's going to be relaunching Captain America in April, but we're getting 2 books. So they're going back to the 2014, 2015 publishing model for Captain America, where we've got a Sam Wilson Cap and a Steve Rogers Captain America book. The Sam Wilson one is called Captain America, Symbol of Truth. He's got a new slick costume and shield, but it's by Tochi Onyebuchi, who did some Black Panther Legend stuff, wrote Call of Duty, Vanguard, and Riot Baby. And then the Marvel Stormbreaker artist, can't leave that out, R.B. Silva, who, of course, we adore from his work on Powers of 10. This cover is cool. What do you guys think about the shield, though?
I love that Sam has his own shield now.
I can't see this shield. Is this a new costume? It looks like the.
I think it's the wings look a little different. It's very
yeah.
What do they call it? Like they did with Chris Evans's it's been improved.
Yeah.
Finagled. I don't know, anyway.
Yeah, so I guess we don't have an image for you guys of the shield on screen. Kale, you should just be able to pull up the article.
I'm working on it, yeah.
It's basically got like a raised star to it, and the pieces are separate, and the colors are inverted. I think it looks pretty cool. I don't like the star design, though. I actually like it a lot better in the Mark Brooks wraparound cover that they put out.
Oh yeah, Mark. If you got Mark Brooks promo art, you're doing something with this book. Like that's usually a big deal.
Yeah,
you might be able to see the shield here.
Yeah, I guess the shield isn't visible on the Alex Ross covers. I'm just a sucker for Alex Ross.
Me too, buddy. So Onyebuchi talked a little bit about. Hey, don't make fun of their name. Talked a little bit about their plans for this book with Entertainment Weekly. And they said, we've seen Sam Wilson deal with the legacy of Captain America and race in very inward terms with regards to America. What does it mean for America to accept a black Captain America? One of the things I'm teasing in my book is, what does it mean for the rest of the world to accept the black Captain America? That's another part of the equation. If Captain America is in many ways a nemesis of America, with all the good and bad pathologies, what does that mean for the way in which America interacts with the rest of the world? I think that it's due for them to explore that. Obviously, Remender did that to some degree, and then Nick Spencer did that a little bit more, but I don't think that it's been properly examined. And I think a black writer will bring what is required to have that conversation in comics. So I'm happy for that.
Even oh god, who's the writer that was just on Cap? He did Black Panther.
Coates.
Ta-Nehisi Coates. He was writing Steve as Cap. He didn't even get to tackle that aspect of it, which I feel like the Bucky or Falcon and Winter Soldier really kind of brought that home towards the end. It was like, oh, this is a black Captain America. I don't think the comics really had a chance to, especially by a black writer. It's never had the chance to. And I'm really excited to kind of see that aspect of it kind of shine through here. And also R.B. Silva on art.
Yo, absolutely.
That's good. That's some good tasty art there.
Yeah.
I am excited.
Tochi Onyebuchi is Nigerian as well.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Interesting. He says on Twitter that it still hasn't sunk in that he's writing Captain America. So
that's a big get, especially for somebody who's only been doing the B tier Black Panther series so far. Like, no offense to that, but like, this is a flagship title. Pun intended. And
I get it.
Yeah. I'm excited for this the other creative team. If you want to mention that, Sean.
Yeah. So the other book is Sentinel of Liberty. And this one's got Jackson Lanzig and Colin Kelly writing it with Stormbreaker, Carmen Carnero. And this is going to be, I guess, like a little bit more of a traditional Cap book. I know that these two writers are popular, and I've seen their names on other books.
Kang.
And I think they also do things outside of comics, if I remember correctly. I don't know if I'm right about that.
I think Jackson Lansing did Venture Brothers. Or am I thinking
that I'm unsure of. I know this is the team that did the most recent Kang miniseries, which we read for the show.
Right.
Which is done, and it is really good. It's real wacky stuff, and it's like real Marvel stuff too. I think there's some up and comers for Marvel, and this is really them doing something big for Marvel. I mean, the Kang book is big, quote unquote, especially with Kang being more in the forefront in the MCU. But now they're doing the Steve Rogers Captain America book, and it seems like it's going to be a more traditional kind of espionage Cap book.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I want, really. And in Carmen Carnero, who did the Kelly Thompson Captain Marvel stuff, real good stuff. The Captain America Zero issue, which has both creative teams in terms of the writers, with art by Mattia De Ulis. Ooh, that's going to be good. That's a nice Zero issue. De Ulis is real good.
I love that they're utilizing Arnim Zola, too. I love Zola.
Yeah.
I hope Zola comes back in the movies.
There's a chance. We still never got to see full robot Zola. So,
that's
I mean, if we're looking at the Mark Brooks promotional stuff, there's some interesting characters on there. We have the Invaders. We have Shuri and Black Panther, which curious to see where they wind up being, backup characters for. We see young Bucky.
Bucky's there, Winter Soldier, U.S. Agent.
Well, even young Bucky is on there too.
Young Bucky, young Bucky.
So Crossbones, Sharon Carter, Misty Knight. Love Misty Knight. MODOK
Red
is
Skull.
horrifying in this.
Oh God, dude! I wish we had like a close up on that fucking face. That's really gross.
And then U.S. Agent, which he's got to factor in here somehow, which I'm excited for.
Namor and the Human Torch. I have to
and
assume
I
the
think
original Human
is that
Torch.
Contessa De Fontaine in the back too? This seems like more of like Nick Fury's side characters too, which like Dum Dum's back there. Which
I feel like every single one of these characters appeared during like Brubaker's Cap.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And that's actually for me a good thing because these are Cap's characters in a lot of ways. And so if you're telling me that we're gonna have a sprawling Captain America story across 2 books, I'm into that. Real quick, this is probably not worth pointing out, but I'm just shooting it. Do you think that there's any relevance to the way that the characters are placed? Like, does it matter that certain characters are more on Steve's side than Sam's side? Is that giving us any hints about where they'll appear?
I don't think so. Like, if you cut this down the middle, the invaders are on Sam's side, which makes no sense.
Right.
Yeah, and is that Natasha on the side there too? Yeah. I don't really see any weight to that. I think this is just more composition wise.
Yeah,
mostly because I think this is a wraparound cover for the Hero issue. Yeah.
Yep.
I might have to actually physically pick that up. I love Mark Brooks.
Dude, you messing with this podcast, you're gonna start buying weekly.
No, it's too cold. It's too cold. I'm not leaving my house.
It won't always be.
It's true. It's true.
Not global warming, baby.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's talk about the League, the Justice League.
I think when FX is the League, I was like, sure, we could talk about it. That's a great show.
I thought you meant the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
No. The League of Justice. Actually, before we dive into this topic, I do want to just respond to the Twitch comments. Catherine said, sorry, don't mean to put a damper, but he was a favorite of mine, so I felt he couldn't be forgotten as we talked about it. No, absolutely. That's absolutely worth pointing out. Matt says, Cat books have been mid for so long. I've got zero interest. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is promising. I think this is promising.
What would you consider the last good Cap-specific run? Like, if we go back, we have Coates' run, and before that, was it
Mark Waid?
Was it Wade did a little bit with Samney, I think. Then Spencer,
Remender.
and then Remender. Really, I would say Remender's Arnim Zola arc, Dimension Z, was it? And that was good stuff.
Did not like.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was the most disappointing, one of the most disappointing runs of that era for me. I had high hopes and I didn't think it delivered. And I didn't think it was possible for me to be disappointed by Remender, but here I am. For me, the last great Cap run was definitely Nick Spencer.
Great? Interesting. Okay.
I loved it. I think Nick Spencer killed it. And Secret Empire was brilliant.
The Susayas on that one too?
Yep.
Yeah. I thought it was good. I don't know. Great's an interesting choice of words there. But
listen,
hey,
man,
it's your opinion.
Go back. And then Hermes Pip says they're doing the Batman Beyond book in April. Yes, correct. Which also looks really cool and was solicited this month. I wanted to talk about it, but instead we're talking about the Justice League. DC put out a really cool cover and promotional image for the Death of the Justice League. This is going to be written by Joshua Williamson with Rafa Sandoval on art. They did The Flash together. They're going to be teaming up to tell this story, starting with Justice League 75. It is the final issue of the ongoing series, but I assume that there's, machinations going on that will see this not be the actual end of the League forever. Just the end, probably just the end of a lot of these characters. But let me go ahead.
Is Bendis' last run in 74, right? His last issue?
I believe that's correct.
Yeah. So there's no way they get Williamson to do one issue and then
right.
Yeah,
exactly. That wouldn't make any sense. Williamson had a lot to say that I thought was interesting about this. So here's what Williamson said to Entertainment Weekly. It's very serious. It's an interesting opportunity to do this on the 30th anniversary of the death of Superman, which happened in Superman 75. We get to take Justice League 75 and do Death of Justice League. We want people to understand this is serious and this is going to have a major impact in DCU moving forward. Then he goes on to say, I think one reason that story was so powerful was that after the funeral for a friend story, there were no Superman comics for 3 months. That's part of what led us to make the decision that this is the last issue of Justice League. But then 3 months later, there's still not going to be a Justice League comic. It's going to be a while, and that's going to be a major part of what the DCU looks like after this story. There is no Justice League.
Okay.
Yeah. I got really excited when I read that. Because if you're telling me that DC is willing to say they're not publishing Justice League for 6 or more months, and that is going to have severe ramifications for the future of the line, I'm in.
Might have severe ramifications for DC.
For their sales.
Fucking hurry up.
They're trying to make sure that they can get all the Flashpoint Justice League, the new Justice League coming out in Flashpoint, and have that be their new JL. So,
by the way, this was very predictable.
Oh yeah.
If you've been paying attention, like we do, then you know that the 5G stuff is still unfolding.
Gives you COVID. Oh, the
Turn of the Frog skate.
Yeah.
This was always a part of that plan. Was for the League to end and for the new people, the new heroes to take over. We already know DC has populated their comics with their new versions of the same characters. They're obviously just going to become the new League. That's what it seems like to me. Anyway.
So you think this is the beginnings of the 5G Justice League book that we saw?
Yeah. It's going to be a soft version of that, like exactly what DC has been for the last 2 years, is a soft version of 5G.
Interesting. Wasn't Thomas Wayne crossing out the 5G, like averted in the Flashpoint thing?
That's dude. Jeff Johns. You weren't here at that time. We talked a lot about all that. Jeff Johns and Dan Didio were like at war with each other.
Yeah,
and 5G was at the center of that for a lot of people. So that was like a little bit of an FU, I think, to Didio.
A DC FU.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time they haven't had a Justice League book on the stands. Like,
sure.
Nothing really new for them.
But this is like the death of Superman. It's gonna matter.
It's also 30 years from the death of Superman, actually.
I like
that. So it's 30th anniversary of that.
Yeah.
When you started that quote with, "This is really serious," it reminded me of South Park. Super cereal, guys.
Yeah, I mean,
that was a little goofy.
Been 10 years since anybody's heard that reference.
I don't care.
Yep.
If there's something I care less about, it's the death of a DC character. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Especially the Justice League. Like, no, you're just gonna write them off. It's just a storyline. It's a plot. And
even still, the good ones are still around. You've got Green Lantern and the Flash in a different promo issue.
Well, no, I think Green Lantern is also dead, according to the variant. There's the variant with all of them in coffins. Green Lantern's in there.
That's what that's what I'm talking about. I think Hal is still in the middle of that picture, and Kyle is right there.
So is Simon Baz. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this: the death of Bendis's League is awesome. Black Adam being a part of that team is just goofy. I can't even believe that. Oh, thank you for the host. Who did that?
It was Marco. Doesn't count.
Okay.
I will say I will mourn the loss of Ramvi's Justice League Dark backups that are going on in Justice League. It's very good. If they collect that into its own thing, highly recommend it.
Totally, and I think they will.
Yeah, they have to. I can't imagine them packaging that together. But But yeah, I mean, if this leads to like a new Justice League formed that, you know, they can kind of do their things with, that's not Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, like something different, I'm all for something different.
Let's bring Azrael back.
He was a Justice League member. He was in Justice League Odyssey.
No, that's not who I'm talking about from Morrison's run.
Wait, who?
Oh, the Angel guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so he was like early Morrison stuff. Yeah.
Wasn't that Azrael?
It was some kind of Azazel, maybe. I don't.
Maybe that's.
I think that's what it was.
Azazel. Yeah.
Do you guys
Bring
have
him
any
back.
like if they rebuild the Justice League from scratch? Do you guys? I mean, I posed this question on our Twitter, but do you guys want to mention who you think would be good a good addition to a new team?
The Atom.
Give me Jessica Cruz
Nice.
or Sojourner Moline from Far Sector. I would love to see her take her spot in the league.
She's been showing up a little more often in the main DC proper books. She was just in Suicide Squad.
That's
I
awesome.
feel like she was in that image too, that variant image where they're in the coffins.
I believe she might have been in the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, like I really don't know. It depends on how they do it. Like I want to see the next version of the league form out of necessity, not out of like, oh, there's no league, so guess we should make one. And if that happens like that, then you can get a lot of weirder characters in there. Like that's how you
Metal
can
Men.
get.
Metal Men are in that promo image. Like
That's how you can get the new Batman in there. Because
Okay.
like that dude's not gonna join the Justice League for any other reason, right? He's just not that type of character.
I don't know, man. He might be busy getting a line for a chopped cheese in New York City. So, I mean, I think the death of the Justice League is a necessity there. Like that's I almost said a flashpoint. That is a big point for them to need to form another team, I guess.
But if they're not forming that team for at least 3 months, which is the way that he broke it down, something else has to happen to require them.
I guarantee you in May we get a new mini event book.
Yeah.
That is the beginnings of this team. Which spins out into a Justice League book.
God, you guys are so cynical.
And not cynical. We've paid attention to the way comics works for the past 20 years. You know?
So have I.
Especially Joshua Williamson. This dude loves writing miniseries events for DC.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I know.
which means you know who's going to be on this team then? Captain Carrot. I'm cool with it. I'm cool. I say put Animal Man on the team. I think Animal Man's a good addition. And Batwoman.
Batwoman, I would love to see.
She's missing from the solicits in all the other Bat books. So she
Where's
needs
the
a
Atom
place.
right now? Is he around?
Yeah, you just can't see him.
Oh, okay.
Just like
He's
John
in.
Cena.
He's
I get that reference.
Let's move on. We've got quite a bit of show to do, and we got to get out of here. Next up, we've got James Tynion, a new DC Comics announcement for James Tynion, if you can believe that. The man who
Yeah, I can absolutely
said
believe that.
he was done with work for hire stuff is doing another book at DC. And I think it's really kind of an interesting story how it came about and what it is. So what it is, for those of you who can see that on your screen, is Sandman. James Tynion is writing a book within the Sandman universe called Nightmare Country, with art by Lissandro Esterin. And there's going to also be a guest artist for each issue. The first one is Yannick Paquette. That's huge.
he hasn't
That
been
is
around in a
huge.
while.
Yeah. So I don't know a lot about Sandman outside of what we read. So I'm going to be really guided by the article here from Bleeding Cool. But the Corinthian, in Nightmare Country, the Corinthian is let loose on the world in order to capture another, more dangerous nightmare, this one not created by the Lord of Dreams. A cat and mouse game ensues, one with a net of nightmares that catches not just dreams, but the people who dream them. It's a journey that promises to cross terrifying corners of America and include true crime aficionados, white supremacist militia camps, nice, galleries specializing in the art of horror, and more. DC describes the comic as a terrifying travelogue through a nation, both recognizable and obscene.
Damn, all right.
Tynion shared the story of how this book came about by sharing a text message that he received from Chris Conroy, who was an editor at DC, that, long story short, said, I know you are pretty much stepping back from the work for hire. I know that, but if I tried to stand up a new version of the Sandman universe with some redacted stuff, would you want to lead it? And Tynion's reply was, you fucking asshole. And that's how we got it.
I like this. I think the whole Sandman universe reboot thing, I think that started with, I guess, the prologue stuff, and then formed into the Dreaming, and then I've read those and they were good. They were really fun books. There's Bilkis Everly did the Dreaming stuff. Gorgeous book.
Yeah.
Tynion's the right person for the job if they were to pick someone.
Well, yeah, and this book sounds straight up his horror alley.
Yep.
I don't think I've bought one single Sandman book since they did the Sandman universe. I will be buying this.
Dude, Tynion's got teeth for eyeballs.
Yeah, he does.
Dude, that
Fucking
that
wild.
cover is nasty. Like, look at that eye.
It's like a Deidara from Naruto. Did I get that right? Did I get that reference right, guys? I'm trying.
Murphy, let us know in the chat.
All right. He's
I
got
have
the
no
teeth
clue what that is.
in the hands, sort of thing. All right. Well, no, I'm excited for this. I will read this. And according to the email, it sounds like this isn't the only one that's going to be coming up.
Right.
Yeah.
We are getting more. It seems like the question that Chris Conroy asked Tynion was, would you lead it? Right? Not would you do one book?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering like how this is all going to shake out. Tynion does. I don't want to read like Tynion's whole statement, but he talks about how important Sandman is to him, and that this is pretty much the only thing that they could have said that would have made him stay. And so that tells me that this is probably going to be a little more than just this one title.
We're in the era of the current writers are the ones who grew up on Vertigo. So, especially with, Sandman being like one of the linchpins of that, whole publishing line. Absolutely. This is probably a dream come true. And to breathe like new life into the series and bring that back. Yeah. I'd be excited if I was Tynion. Like if there's one thing that would pull me out of a self-imposed work for hire retirement, it's probably writing my dream book.
Right.
So, and it's even like putting their own spin on Nightmare Country. It's not the Sandman, but it's in that sandbox. Sandbox.
Well played.
And playing with one of the creepiest characters from the book. So
yeah, I'm into it. I'm excited to see what else Tynion has in store, or what other writers they are going to be bringing on board. Because I do feel, and again, I haven't read it, so I can't fully judge, but like, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of heat within the Sandman universe stuff that they've done.
It died down.
And they gotta revitalize that if it's going to be a real part of their publishing line. So this is a great first step, and hopefully there's more to come. But you talk about a new generation of writers and what they were inspired by, and one of the biggest inspirations for this generation of writers, not just in comics, but across all media, quite frankly, is Joss Whedon. Say whatever you want about the man.
And we will.
But when it comes to inspiration and someone who really took pop culture and shook it and turned it on its head, you're talking about Joss Whedon.
Shook it some more, strangled it and held it by its ankles,
and grabbed it from places where it shouldn't have been grabbed.
Whoa,
stole its lunch money.
I am a huge Buffy fan. Buffy's extremely important to me. Angel, Dollhouse, just almost everything Joss Whedon has ever done is very important to me.
Justice League.
And so if you have those same feelings, if you are connected to Joss Whedon in any way, then what's been happening with this guy over the last few years has definitely impacted you. And we're going to talk about that now. We're going to talk about, in our main topic, the fall of Joss Whedon, and this interview that came out through Vulture that is supposed to be a revitalization of his career, or at least it feels like that's what they're trying to do. Don't know if it worked. We're going to talk about that, and then also how we can engage with art that's created by people who we no longer support as human beings, and how the death of the artist concept ties into that. All that in our main topic. For you guys on Twitch, we are going to go on a very quick break. Hang around 5 minutes or less. We will be back to talk about this subject. You don't want to miss our conversation about it. Be back soon. Sure that we don't leave you hanging for too long.
Yeah, I'm not wearing pants anyway, so it was a nice, quick, easy trip to the bathroom. So
nice. Not something we need to know or see.
Oh, sorry.
But by the way, if you're on Twitch with us, after the show ends, we will hang out with you guys for another few minutes just to chit chat, talk back about some of the stuff we talked about here, or talk about whatever you guys feel like talking about. So another incentive to watch us live every single week, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays, 6 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays for Pals Pulls. So let's talk about Joss Whedon. And I want to frame this conversation around the Vulture interview, but also because this is a personal subject for me, around what Joss Whedon has meant to me. I'll make it quick. We also now know that Tyler is in fact wearing pants. So
I am
No,
wearing
what a
pants, guys.
fucking
I am
liar.
wearing pants,
God
yeah.
damn.
why would you just lie?
I put them on
Straight
for
up.
this show because I knew I would be taking out my Buffy books. So making sure we don't get taken down on Twitch.
All right. So I started watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer with my aunt. We used to watch television together
Same.
when it started. Hey, really?
Yeah.
Wow. And I was, I guess, like 6 or 7 years old, somewhere in there. And I didn't stop watching it until it was over. So Buffy the Vampire Slayer and then later on Angel were huge parts of my life when I was a little kid. And I learned a lot from those shows about a lot of different subjects. One of them is women, in the sense that I learned that a woman can be anything. A woman doesn't have to be only pretty or only powerful or only, you know, your maid. You know, if you're a kid and you think about like your mom as like your maid, you know, that kind of bullshit. Like they can be anything that they want to be, and that they can be strong. They can be powerful, that they can be your favorite, and you don't have to feel weird about that. And growing up as a young black kid in an area where, you know, being soft or whatever is not necessarily accepted, Buffy made me feel okay with all of that kind of stuff. I learned a lot about friendship. I learned a lot about love, family from these shows. So they're so important to me. They helped me get through my teenage years after they were over. And I still watch Buffy to this day. In fact, I'm in the middle of a rerun right now. I do it like almost annual, semi-annual at least.
Really? The entire series?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Buffy is my favorite character. Buffy Summers is my favorite character across all media. I really, really love Buffy. And there's no character that means more to me. Super important. Now, does that mean that Joss Whedon is equally as important because he created Buffy? That's the question that I think a lot of people are struggling with right now as we reckon with who Joss is as a human being, as all this stuff comes to light. The Justice League stuff, where he lightened up Ray Fisher and all the other black characters, where he cut significant portions of Ray Fisher's storyline, Ray Fisher's father, all that different stuff, where he allegedly threatened Gal Gadot's career on set when they had disagreements. He was very rough with the cast, didn't allow them a lot of freedom of ad-libbing or, trying things out. He came on and was sort of a tyrant. That's how he's described.
Yeah, he's described as very abusive on set. And this is not just, I think Justice League was the first domino to fall, because then it started coming out that like, oh yeah, he was like this on, Angel. He was like this on Buffy. He was like this on Dollhouse. So
I almost said Cordelia Chase. Charisma Carpenter, there's got to be a reason why her character name and her real name both have 2 C's. But
a Superman character. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Charisma Carpenter, who played Cordelia on Buffy, has said that they had a very rocky relationship while she was pregnant. He basically told her, "Are you going to keep it?" And then when she decided she was kind of put on the back burner on the show and then subsequently fired, which is horrible. That's terrible. Absolutely disgusting. All of the allegations against Whedon, including having sex with his with the stars of the show, not the stars, but like actors from the shows that he was on, who were often significantly younger than him, not necessarily illegally young, but younger. While he was married, the fact that he wasn't allowed on set or in private with Michelle Trachtenberg when she was, doing Buffy as a young girl. All of these things are so uncomfortable for someone who loves Joss's work so much. It's worth pointing out that Joss did do the interview with Vulture. It's very long and very good, quite frankly. Joss counters all of these points. Joss says, was I rough on set sometimes? Yeah, could have been a little softer, but hey, I'm one of the actually, I'll just read the quote. Joss says, nobody ever fell from a pedestal into anything but a pit, in reference to when people put you on a pedestal, there's nowhere to go but down. He then says, could I have done Marriage better? Don't get me started. Could I have been a better showrunner? Absolutely. Should I have been nicer? The writer then says he considered the question. Perhaps he could have been calmer, more direct, but would that not have compromised the work? Maybe the problem was he'd been too nice, he said. He'd wanted people to love him, which meant when he was direct, people thought he was harsh. In any case, he decided he was done worrying about all that. People had been using, quote, every weaponizable word of the modern era to make it seem like I was an abusive monster. I think I'm one of the nicest showrunners that has ever been. He is completely out of his mind. I encourage you, if you're a fan of Joss's work, to read this interview. You will understand that he has learned nothing from the last few years.
It's unhinged.
Nothing at all.
And I think this interview was done not recently, right? This was done
yeah.
It was released recently, but the interview itself was done.
It
2
was
years
done.
ago or something?
Oh, it was done over the course of a few months. I believe it was done a year or so ago. It could have been a little bit longer than that.
It's unhinged.
Yeah.
Like Kale, you mentioned like, does he have a, before we start the show, like, does he have a publicist or does his publicist hate him? That is apt here because, oh boy, this is the most confirmation I've had for any of the allegations against Joss Whedon then since the allegations have come out. Like his response to this is wild.
We talked last week about the fact that Johns hadn't responded and that Whedon hadn't either. It's crazy that this came out now.
Yeah.
The old Comics Pals bump.
When all this was going around, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff Johns is definitely not responding now.
Wow. Let's see what happens next week.
Actually, maybe it is a good time to respond because it can't be worse than this. So
yeah.
Was I racist to Ray Fisher? Maybe I wasn't racist enough to Ray Fisher.
I'm one of the least racist showrunners of all time.
When you were talking about like all the things that Buffy taught you, I agree. It taught you, about women, and I think the first on-screen lesbian kiss, I believe.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
One thing it didn't teach me was race. That's for sure.
No, you were not learning about race from Buffy.
Not at all. Did not exist. In the Whedonverse, there were more vampires than black people.
I always attributed that to the time. Like that's how I rationalize it now, or at least I did before I found out what Whedon is like. Now I think it could just be because he's kind of a racist, but a lot of shows were like that.
Well, black people hadn't been invented yet, so
yeah.
But Tyler, I really want to get your take because I know you also have a connection to Whedon, but I just want to quickly read some of the comments from Twitch.
We can skip that first one by Matt.
Catherine said, Buffy and Angel from my childhood. Man, you got me there. Yeah, see, like that's a lot of people. Where do you watch Buffy? I love your love for her, dude. I watch Buffy. Buffy is on Amazon. Buffy is on, I think, Hulu. I also have every episode on DVD. I have the whole collection, so I can watch Buffy pretty much anyway. Matt Murphy said, Charisma Carpenter is too hot to this day. Thank you for the timing on that. That's it's true, but not necessarily.
Jeez.
And Catherine says, if you have to say you're nice, you're not. Generally, that's true. Matt Murphy says, John's ex-wife responded. Link us to that.
Yeah, you give us a link to that, man. I'm actually curious about that.
Yeah. So Tyler, what about you, man? What are your feelings about Joss?
I love Buffy as a show. I think it's fantastic. Personally, I think Anya's my favorite character. But
Anya, you definitely strike as an Anya guy.
Do I really?
Yeah, of course.
That tracks. That tracks. Yeah, I mean, like, I almost want to say like the Whedonverse of characters is like the typical white nerd fan messiah, like especially like with Firefly and Buffy alone, those two things are huge. I think it's weird seeing how Buffy, you know, what it said to what you spoke to is that it made you realize, you know, what a female character can be in fiction, and then to see that weaponized by Joss Whedon has been disgusting, honestly.
Yeah.
He's almost like, look what I've done for women, really, in his responses to this, which is like so antithetical to the actual text that's in his work. It's hard. It's hard to resolve these two things because honestly, he's a shithead. Like, and I don't even think you can be like allegedly a shithead. This response proves it. You know, he talks about Ray Fisher being a bad actor in both senses of the word. He calls out Gal Gadot for not knowing English as her first language. Like, I mean, Gal Gadot's got other things going on, but like, it's
not understanding English is not one of her problems.
Oh yeah, no, it's not. That's not an issue. That's not an issue. It's just so it's so just like gross. Honestly, I mean, first of all, look at this picture of him. Who wears tinted shades, glass, prescription glasses like that? I don't trust that. If you got transition lenses on, we're starting at a negative point, guys. We gotta keep going. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, do I still like Buffy? Yeah, I do. I am a little ashamed that I have all these Buffy books that I kind of want to pawn off now. But it's weird. I mean, I think because you can argue Buffy is not solely a Joss Whedon thing. There are other writers that were in there that, you know, wrote the majority of the episodes. They're the actors and actresses. It's more of a community effort, and I think you can appreciate it for that. You don't have to put it all on Joss, even though he may do that himself. And I think that's where you can still appreciate the work a little more. It's not like it's music where it's a sole artist. But it's a sticky situation that really makes me kind of bummed, to be honest.
So I want to respond to that because there was a like cult of, it's kind of like a cult of personality thing with Joss.
Yep.
Where you know, there's an article out also this week called "When Joss Whedon Was Our Master," and Joss very, very much had people enthralled by him. In fact, he's kind of like a vampire in the sense that he is this larger than life person who enthralls you through his powers and pulls you in close and makes you feel perfectly safe and then bites you and sucks your blood, right? Does something horrible to you. And it seems like that's what his relationships in life are like. But when it comes to the idea of like, you know, you mentioned that he's not solely responsible for Buffy. That's true. But at the same time, people have been trying to downplay his role in that show. And I can't do that. I can't do that either. Because Joss Whedon created not only the language of Buffy, but that same like language and like way of speaking and stuff like that. You can see that in a lot of different places, man. I see it in Bendis. It's all over TV, and it has been for the last 20 years or more. It's the MCU. The MCU is Joss Whedon. You know, he's everywhere. He really is, and it's tough, right? Like it's tough, but we can't take away what he did. We can only reckon with how we can engage comfortably with what he did as a creator. You know what I'm saying? Kale, what are your thoughts about all this?
So I actually don't have a huge history with Joss as much as a lot of other people. The first Whedon thing I think I ever really interacted with was Astonishing X-Men. And I really enjoyed that. Really, that was probably my sort of X-Men comics defining moment, but it never really lasted. For me, I really fell for the Whedon thing with Dr. Horrible. I was really enchanted by that whole thing, and that sort of took me along the Firefly route, and I never really branched into Buffy, but around that same time, Avengers came out, and then the rest is history or whatever. So I don't have a huge Whedon boner one way or the other. But especially here recently, it's been really hard to support him, like you guys have said. For me, I think this comes down to, I think it's good to look at the things in the past that have come from creators like this, so that you can re-examine it. And if it's like in the case of like Harry Potter, it's filled with anti-Semitism and anti-LGBT thoughts and things. So it's good to examine that. And if it's the kind of thing that means something to you, to reckon with those things. But now that in this case, that Joss Whedon is a terrible person, you don't have to support him. Like, stop giving him money. And I think that's where I sit is, for me, the death of the author is, once I know this guy's awful, I'm not giving him money. I don't have to listen to what he says. I'm done.
The concept of the death of the author, I'm glad you brought us here. That's not what it means.
No.
So for anyone who's unfamiliar, I'll explain it really briefly. Essentially, the death of the author is referencing it was a concept basically created. I'm trying to find the name of the guy that created it, but I'm whiffing on that. And in any event, what it means, and it's often misunderstood, is once a writer writes their story and it's gone from them, they essentially should be dead. In that whatever it is that they were trying to say is no longer relevant. What's relevant is how you, the reader, feel about it.
Roland Barthes was the guy's name.
Thank you. And it's misunderstood and misinterpreted. You can see that in our college system and the way we talk about books and the way we evaluate them, and that more often it's focused on what the writer was trying to say rather than how it makes you feel. And how you feel is, according to this person that Kill just mentioned, more important than what the writer was trying to say. Now, not everyone has to agree on that. That's a personal thing. I happen to agree. because who the person was, who the person is, what they were trying to say alienates you from the story. It alienates you from whatever is being said. What I get out of something could be completely different than what Tyler gets out of it, and completely different than what Kale gets out of it, and totally different than what the writer wanted us to get out of it, or what he was trying to say. But once the writer says, yeah, this is what I meant, all of our takes don't matter anymore, because we now know exactly what the point is. And on top of that, based on what Kale was just referencing, if you know that the writer is someone who intended things you don't like or is a bad person in real life, if you aren't able to separate artists from art, that could alienate you also from their work and make it so that it's something you can't engage with anymore. Buffy is not tainted for me. I don't care who wrote it, who created it. Joss Whedon can be the worst human on earth, and I can still,
maybe not on Earth, but he's definitely up there.
I can still engage with Buffy happily because it means something to me that's bigger than what Joss Whedon is.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, am I going to be excited when there's new if there is new Joss Whedon media coming up? Probably not. I mean, the guy called it the Whedonverse. You know, like that should have been a sign right there. Like this guy might be a little too into himself, sipping his own Kool-Aid a bit. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I will ever stop liking Buffy. It's, again, a big deal for me in terms of media. But I definitely don't like Joss Whedon anymore.
How could you, right? It'd be weird if you did. By the way, drop us a comment. Let us know how you feel about this. If you're live on Twitch, listening at home, let us know how you deal with this, because, you know, we've had to deal with it more and more over the last few years as, you know, we learn more about these creators who we love, you know, the Me Too movement and everything that has happened in America, you know, has exposed a lot of bad actors in the sense of being bad humans. And we have to deal with that. Like, I didn't watch The Cosby Show today with no problem. Do I mess with Bill Cosby? Absolutely not. But I can make that distinction, and I know that not everybody else can. But you have to, well, you don't have to. Everyone can do what they want. But in my opinion, for me, I have to be able to create that separation, to accept the gift of the art without necessarily caring about who the artist is. I don't need the people who create what I consume to be good people.
That's an interesting take that you mentioned in The Cosby Show, because like I feel like I can't enjoy The Cosby Show anymore. And I think that's because Cosby is front and center of that one.
Yep.
It's a more personal connection. Like, I don't see Joss Whedon in Buffy. You know, he's not physically there. So maybe it's easier for me to make that separation. I love The Cosby Show is my favorite sitcom.
Sure.
You know, I mean, outside of like Seinfeld or something, in terms of, you know, like those kind of sitcoms. Like I loved The Cosby Show. I can't watch it anymore. I just can't do it. It's disgusting in my opinion. Cosby's stand-up was like some of my favorite stand-up of all the time. Matt Murphy says, Joss, the only man who truly gaslight gatekeep girl boss too close to the sun. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's also a personal decision too. Like if you were a huge Buffy fan and you refuse to watch it now, I get it. I totally get it.
Of course.
And I think that's a totally valid reason for something. Honestly, I think once I saw Justice League, I was like, oh yeah, maybe I'm done with Joss as a creator as well, because that thing was shite. But yeah, even like watching Avengers back, I'm like, was this really as good as I remember? Doesn't really feel like it. But
because of what we now know about him.
No, I think in terms of my tastes have grown.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like music, I think is another one that's hard to separate the artist from the art. I think when it's writing or show running or whatever, it's a little easier. But yeah, that's just my opinion on it.
We got a first time comment from Shenran14. Thank you so much for joining us and dropping a comment. Let us know how you found the show, by the way. I'm someone that can easily separate the art from the artist. especially on the ones that were already created. The only thing that gets in my head is, quote, you gained so many fans because of the values or messages that you put in the product, but you didn't follow those values.
Yeah.
That is a great point. And I think Whedon is a very good example of exactly that. Whedon built his entire brand around being a feminist while he was hurting women. In my opinion, go ahead.
I was going to say is like typical guy who shouts from the rooftops that he's a feminist.
Right.
Like I've been to a liberal arts college. I know this type. Like it's they exist. It's almost stereotypical at this point.
Human beings are extremely complicated. And I think that oftentimes we really want to make that not true. We want it to be that people will be good and that anyone who doesn't do the right thing in every situation is bad. And I'm not saying that to excuse Whedon's behavior on any level, because especially with what we have learned over the last few years, this dude is crap, right? But I do think that oftentimes there's a level of, oh, you're a feminist, but you cheated on your wife, you're a piece of shit and not a feminist. That's not true. That being a feminist doesn't mean that. And human beings are more complicated than that. And that's why these labels suck.
Yeah, he was such a feminist. He loved multiple women. For who they were. He was super feminist.
Unreal.
But what you're saying is like a particular action does not negate everything.
Right. Like for example, is the stance of Gandhi, right? A person who saved a nation, right? Is that negated because he beat his wife? Can't be, right? Like there's dead silence right now because you're reconciling with that, but the immensity of what he accomplished can't be negated because he was a shitty person to his wife. I abhor what he was as a human being in his home with his wife, but he saved the nation, and his concepts and his beliefs altered the entire earth.
Imagine if Twitter was around then.
Right? Right?
We would know a lot more about these people, yeah.
Martin Luther King, same kind of thing.
I'm not sure I want to compare Joss Whedon to Gandhi and Martin Luther King.
No. Hopefully that's not how this is coming across.
Yeah, I don't want to compare civil rights movement to my enjoyment of a vampire TV show.
I'm not. Yeah. Please don't bring me down that road, because that's not the point. I'm talking about exactly what Catherine just said. It's black and white thinking. That's what I'm talking about. That once you get into the granularity of that, you're going to find that your black and white thinking doesn't work. And you have to be able to look beyond that. But is Joss Whedon shitty? Yes. Can I still watch Buffy happily? Yes. And not think about these things? Yes. Absolutely. I just think it's more complicated.
Fair. And that's why I've been able to enjoy some of the more recent Buffy comics too, to bring back to the comic sphere. Because he doesn't deal with it. You know what I mean? Like he's not a part of
anymore.
it. It's the art has supplanted the artist in a way. It's become its own thing.
Right.
Which with an IP like this, it can, you know, like I don't agree with all of Walt Disney's, ideas, but am I still a weirdo Disney adult who likes, drinking beer at Epcot? Hell yeah. But I can still look at that Walt Disney statue and be like, that guy probably said some real fucked up shit when I wasn't recorded,
Yeah. And by the way, lots of people that you don't know their politics or their stance on a million different topics, who you love, who you'd probably not be happy with if you knew everything that they're about or have ever done or ever said. There has to be space for people to be flawed. Joss Whedon is a little too flawed for me, though.
Dude, to bring it back to the interview, this dude self-reported all over that interview.
Yo, oh my God, it was crazy.
Yo.
We don't have the time to deep dive the interview, but my God, it's bad. I implore you to go read it. It's really bad.
The journalist writing that article must have been like, yo, fuck yes. This is great.
Give me the dirt. Yes, please, Joss. Yeah. So I really just wanted to use Joss Whedon as a springboard to have this conversation. Ultimately, as with anything we talk about on this show, it's up to you guys. You know, it's up to how you ultimately feel and how you deal with this in your day-to-day life. Because unfortunately, now more than ever, we have to. As a Black person, I've been dealing with this literally my entire existence because a lot of the creators that I have loved their work have been racist. A lot of the rappers that I have loved have done horrific things in their personal lives. Biggie was a wife beater. Big Pun was a wife beater. You know, a lot of them sold drugs, destroyed the community. Do I love them still? Yeah, I do. This is something that's been a part of my life from day one.
You said that, and I just thought of the Black Dynamite quote. But Black Dynamite, I'll sell drugs in the community.
Let's read a few more of the comments before we jump out. And by the way, if you're on Twitch, stick around. We will be hanging out with you guys for a little bit longer. You want to keep the conversation going or just shoot the shit? Catherine said, I'm always struggling with this issue. Can I separate the art from the artist and whatnot? Because there are things I really enjoy that are even sentimental to me, but to know the person behind it is not great. That's tough. But I like to see it as I try my best to just not support them monetarily anymore for future projects while accepting that I enjoyed past things before I knew all of this. There's definitely a lot of inner conflict for me. It's like black and white thinking. Not just one action can negate something about a person. Matt said, for me, it's someone like Nuboriho Watsuki. I cannot.
Did you even try?
Yeah. That was
Nobuhiro Watsuki. Yeah, I think.
That's kind of what I said.
Yeah, you were close enough. You were close enough.
Yeah. Thanks, Tyler. Fucking Kale.
And by the way, we get the Eastmaster over here to really decide this.
We had a segment on here
called
called Kale mispronounces things. So,
I guess we got to transition that now.
Matt said pedophiles can and should rot. Yeah, and there are levels to it, right? Like that's a bridge too far. Let us know what you guys listening think about this subject. It's a hot button subject right now. Whatever your feeling is, whether you agree with me or agree with us or don't, just tell us. We really want to know what you guys are thinking at home. Get us on YouTube, youtube.com/thecomicspals. Hit that subscribe button while you are there. Like the video, share it with your friends, drop us a comment. All those things are free to do, and they help us out a lot more than they cost you. Head over to twitch.tv/thecomicspals and hit that follow button. Join us when we're live every Saturday at 10 Eastern Standard and every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard for Pals Pulls. This week on Pals Pulls, we're going to be talking about Saga. We're going to be doing Saga 55, X Deaths of Wolverine #1, and a few other books I can't think of right now, but it's going to be a great
First
episode.
time hearing of it, Sean. Jeez.
Join our Discord. Come hang out with us over there. If you enjoy the live element of the show and the chat that comes from Twitch, a lot of those people are on our Discord, and we have great conversations that often spill over there. So come hang out with us. Our Saga Book Club is dropping this Tuesday. Make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be a great time. Let's get into the plugs. Kale.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TotoInto. That's TOTOINTOW.
Oh, no, guys. Kale's stroking.
I've got 3 versions of myself that I'm watching. I've got Tyler's window, and then I've got myself on my own Zoom window, and then I've got myself playing on the iPad over here. So I'm like,
it's got distracted by your own coiffed hair.
I did, yeah. You can find my work at kaleward.com. That's CALEWARD.com.
All right, Tyler.
You can follow me on the Tyler Olson on Instagram and Twitter. I've been posting some reckless shit on the Comics Pals Twitter, so if you see something that deals with Nightcrawler being pegged by Kitty Pryde, that was me that posted that one.
Tremendous.
Actual panel.
Absolutely.
It's an actual panel.
Yeah.
I plan on streaming Pokemon Legends Arceus this coming Friday on this channel. Yeah. Depending on if it doesn't snow and I can get my order in the mail on time. I did not go digital for this. I like to have Pokemon games physically.
Yep.
So
Same.
If I can get that in time, I plan on streaming that. So that'll be fun.
Even if he doesn't, I will stream it and stream it badly.
Okay.
All
That
right.
means I'll put my webcam over the Switch, and you guys can just watch me play that way, and we'll make it work.
The old-fashioned way of doing it.
All right. As for me, Follow me on Twitter and Instagram only at Sean Soapbox. I just watched Archive 81.
Oh, me too. I watched it last night.
Yeah, man. Pretty interesting. I have lots of thoughts about that.
Is that on Netflix?
Yes, it is.
I give it a good 6.5, 7 out of 10. Definitely watchable.
I give it an 8. First 5 episodes I thought were really good, and then it kind of like gets a little too weird. But yeah, thought that was awesome. And you know what? I think I'm going to read Astonishing X-Men again.
After all this,
Yeah.
all this discussion, you say, you know what? I'm gonna keep the artist and the art together. And
I'm gonna enjoy the X-Men story that just so happened to be told by Joss Whedon. That's what.
Okay. All right.
So thank you so much for listening. With that, we're the Comics Pal signing off. Take care, guys.
See you next week.